You earned more this year than last year, maybe significantly more. And somehow, right now, staring at your bank balance on a Tuesday afternoon, you have less saved than you did 12 months ago. Not because something terrible happened, not because life threw you a curveball you could not dodge, just because everything got a little bit more expensive in ways you cannot quite explain. A slightly better apartment, a couple of new subscriptions you forgot you signed up for. Restaurants that used to be a Friday night treat somehow became a Wednesday habit. Meanwhile, someone earning the exact same salary as you has $20,000 in savings, carries zero consumer debt, and genuinely does not stress about money on Sunday nights. The difference between you and that person is not a secret investment strategy. It is not a budgeting app. It is not luck or inheritance. It is 15 rules. 15 quiet, boring, surprisingly simple rules about how they spend, what they keep, and how they think about the objects and obligations in their life. Rules that separate people who build wealth from people who just earn income. My name is Evan, and I spend way too much time thinking about money, financial psychology, and why some people seem to effortlessly build wealth while others stay stuck in the same financial patterns for decades. If you are someone who wants to understand the real mechanics behind wealth building instead of just hoping things will magically improve, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if it ends up helping you see money differently. Let me walk you through all 15. Rule number 1, stop treating your raise like a lifestyle upgrade. This is the rule that explains why so many people earn more every year and never actually get ahead. It is called lifestyle inflation, and it is the most invisible wealth destroyer in personal finance. Here is how it plays out. You make $60,000 and spend $55,000. You get bumped to $75,000. 6 months later, you are spending $70,000. Your income grew by $15,000 a year. Your savings barely moved. Where did the money go? A slightly better apartment, a nicer car lease, upgraded streaming packages, more convenience purchases. Each one felt completely reasonable on its own. Together, they swallowed the entire raise. Rich Richard gets a $10,000 raise. Before his first bigger paycheck even hits, he bumps his automatic savings transfer by $5,000 a year. He never sees that money in his checking account. He never adjusts to having it. The other $5,000, sure, he enjoys some of it. Better groceries, maybe one nicer trip a year, but half that raise went straight to building wealth before his brain had a chance to spend it. Poor Peter gets the same raise. He upgrades his apartment by $400 a month. That is $4,800 a year. He switches to a premium gym. He starts ordering better wine at dinner. Within 3 months, every dollar of that raise has a job, and none of those jobs involve building his future. Here is the rule. Every time your income increases, save at least half the increase before you spend any of it. Automate the transfer before the first new paycheck arrives. You cannot miss money you never had access to. This one habit, done consistently over a career, is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it costs you nothing because you are already living fine on the old salary. Rule number 2, adopt the one in, one out policy for everything you own. Here's what people get wrong about clutter. They think it happens because they do not organize well enough. Wrong. Clutter happens because the rate of stuff coming in exceeds the rate of stuff going out. It is a flow problem, not a storage problem. The one in, one out rule fixes this permanently. Every time you buy something new, something similar has to leave. New shirt, old shirt gets donated. New kitchen gadget, one has to go. New pair of shoes, pick the pair you wore least and let them go. This does 2 things at once. First, it keeps your physical space manageable without needing weekend purges every few months. Second, and this is the part that quietly saves you thousands, it makes you think twice about every single purchase. Buying something is no longer just about spending money, it is also about losing something you already own. That friction alone kills an enormous number of impulse buys. When you know something has to leave to make room, you stop accumulating the tiny stuff that quietly drains your wallet and fills your drawers. The random kitchen tools, the extra phone chargers, the novelty items that seemed fun for about 4 days. Try it for 30 days. Nothing new comes in unless something goes out. Watch how your spending changes when every purchase has a built-in cost beyond the price tag. Rule number 3, measure cost per use, not sticker price. This is where minimalism stops looking like deprivation and starts looking like math. Almost everyone evaluates purchases by what it costs at the register. That is the wrong metric. The right metric is cost per use. A $50 shirt you wear 100 times costs you 50 cents per wear. A $15 shirt you wear 5 times before it falls apart costs you $3 per wear. The cheap shirt is 6 times more expensive to actually own. This math applies everywhere. furniture, electronics, kitchen equipment, shoes, outerwear, tools. The item that costs more upfront but lasts 5 times longer is almost always a cheaper option over its lifetime. But your brain does not process it that way. Your brain sees $50 leaving your wallet versus $15 leaving your wallet, and it screams that 15 is the better deal. It is not. Your brain is bad at long-term math when short-term pain is involved. Before your next significant purchase, divide the price by the number of times you will realistically use it. High cost per use means the item is expensive regardless of how cheap it looked. Low cost per use means the item is a bargain regardless of the sticker price. This one mental shift changes what you buy, how often you replace it, and how much money you actually keep. Rule number 4, simplify your financial accounts down to the essentials. Financial advisors love complexity. Multiple accounts, multiple cards, multiple investment platforms, separate savings buckets for every goal. It looks sophisticated. It is not. It is confusion disguised as strategy. Here is what actually works. One checking account for spending, one savings account for building, one credit card paid in full every month. That is it. Automate your bills and your savings transfers. I have seen people with 6 bank accounts and 7 credit cards who genuinely have no idea where their money goes each month. They think having multiple accounts means they are diversified. It means they are too scattered to track anything properly. This week, look at every financial account you have open. If you cannot explain your entire financial setup to a friend in under 3 minutes, it is too complicated. Simplify it. Rule number 5. Apply the 48-hour rule to every non-essential purchase. Retailers are extremely good at one thing: bypassing your rational brain and triggering impulse decisions. Limited time offers, flash sales, countdown timers, all of it is engineered to make you buy before you think. The 48-hour rule puts your prefrontal cortex back in charge. You see something you want. Instead of buying it immediately, you screenshot it or save the link. You walk away, you wait 48 full hours, then you revisit the decision with fresh eyes. If you still want it and can afford it without using debt, maybe it is worth buying. But here's what actually happens about 90% of the time. The desire evaporates. The gaming console that felt essential 2 nights ago does not even cross your mind. The kitchen gadget that was going to change everything, you forgot you even saved it. The jacket that was calling your name at 11 at night feels completely irrelevant by Thursday morning. My wife and I implemented this rule for anything over $30. First month, we saved over $400 on purchases we genuinely did not want 48 hours later. Multiply that by 12 months and you are looking at close to $5,000 in annual savings, just from introducing a pause. Rule number 6. Cancel every subscription you have not actively used in the past 30 days. The average American household spends about $273 per month on subscriptions. That is over $3,200 a year, and research consistently shows that people underestimate their subscription spending by about $200 per month. That gap between what you think you spend and what you actually spend is where subscriptions quietly eat your wealth. Streaming services you log into once a quarter, fitness apps you used for 2 weeks in January, software trials that quietly converted to paid plans, cloud storage upgrades you set up for one project and forgot about. The subscription model exploits one specific psychological weakness. We are terrible at canceling things. Starting something feels like progress, canceling feels like failure, so we keep paying for services that add zero value because the act of canceling feels like admitting we were wrong. Pull up your bank statement right now. Search for every recurring charge. For each one, ask one question. Did I actively use this in the last 30 days? If the answer is no, cancel it today. You can always resubscribe later if you actually miss it. You probably will not. Rule number 7. Stop replacing things at the first sign of wear. We live in a disposable culture. Something cracks, scuffs, or slows down, and the first instinct is to replace it. That instinct is expensive. Most things can be repaired for a fraction of the replacement cost. Shoe repair shops still exist. Electronics parts are available online for pennies. Clothing alterations extend the life of garments by years. I had a coffee maker that stopped working after 3 years. Replacement cost was $120. I found the broken part online for $8. Watched a walkthrough, swapped it in 20 minutes, and the machine worked perfectly. That was 4 years ago. It is still going. That is $112 saved on a single item I almost threw in the trash. And the compounding effect is what people miss. It is not just $112, it is $112 times every item in your life that you repair instead of replace. Multiply that across shoes, jackets, electronics, appliances, and furniture. For most households, that adds up to thousands a year. Next time something breaks, search for the repair option first. Most fixes cost 20 to 30% of what replacement would cost. Rule number 8, build a personal uniform and stop wasting decisions on clothing. Every decision you make during the day costs mental energy. Psychologists call it decision fatigue, and most people burn through a surprising amount of that energy before 9 in the morning just figuring out what to wear. Decision fatigue does not just make you tired, it makes you impulsive. The person who spent their morning agonizing over outfit choices is the same person who caves and buys something unnecessary at lunch. Their brain ran out of resistance hours ago. The fix is a capsule wardrobe, fewer pieces that all work together, all fit well, and cover every situation you actually encounter. You do not need 30 options. You need maybe 10 that rotate cleanly. The average American owns about 120 items of clothing and regularly wears maybe 30% of them. That means roughly 70 items are sitting in your closet doing nothing except making your mornings harder. This weekend, pull everything out. Make 3 piles. Things you wear every week, things you wear occasionally, things you have not touched in 6 months. Donate the 6-month pile. Box up the occasional pile for 90 days. If you never reach into that box, donate it too. If you are finding this helpful so far, hit that subscribe button. I cover money psychology and wealth building strategies every week. Now let us keep going. Rule number 9, track your net worth monthly instead of obsessing over your budget. Something surprised me when I started paying attention to how wealthy people actually manage money. They rarely budget in the traditional sense. They do not track every latte or obsess over daily spending categories. What they track is net worth. Once a month, on the first, they check one number, total assets minus total liabilities. That single number tells them everything about their financial direction. Here is why this works better than traditional budgeting. Budgets feel restrictive. They create a scarcity mindset. They make you think about every individual purchase as a battle between discipline and desire. And most people abandon their budget within 2 weeks because the friction is exhausting. Net worth tracking zooms out. It shows you the big picture. It lets you see patterns over months and years instead of stressing about whether you spent $8 too much at the grocery store last Wednesday. Rich Richard checks his net worth on the first of every month. Takes about 5 minutes. He updates a simple spreadsheet, subtracts debts from assets, and writes down one number. Over 18 months, he watched that number climb from $12,000 to $41,000. That visible proof of progress motivated him more than any budget ever could. You start making better decisions not because a budget told you to, but because you do not want to see that number dip next month. Poor Peter downloaded 3 budgeting apps, tracked everything for 11 days, got overwhelmed, abandoned all 3, and went back to guessing. He has no idea whether he is moving forward or backward. Start tracking your net worth this month. One number, one spreadsheet. 5 minutes on the first. That number becoming your financial compass is worth more than any budgeting system. Rule number 10, detach your emotions from your purchases. How many things in your life are you keeping right now? Not because they are useful, but because getting rid of them would feel like admitting you wasted money. That gym membership you have not used in 8 months. The online course you bought and never started. The guitar sitting in the closet that you swore you would learn. You are not keeping these things because they add value. You are keeping them because sunk costs make you feel guilty about letting go. Here's the truth that is hard to hear. The money is already gone. Keeping the thing does not recover the money, it just adds ongoing cost. Whether that is monthly charges, physical clutter, or mental weight. I kept a guitar I never played for 3 years because I spent $800 on it. Finally sold it for $200. Felt like I lost $600. But the reality is I lost that $600 the day I stopped playing. Keeping it just meant I wasted closet space for 3 years on top of it. Cutting losses is a skill, and like any skill, it gets easier with practice. This week, identify 3 things you are holding onto purely because of what you paid for them. Sell them, donate them, cancel them. The relief you feel from dropping that weight is worth more than the object ever was. Rule number 11, spend money on experiences, not on objects. This one has actual research behind it. Studies from Cornell University found that people consistently report higher satisfaction from money spent on experiences compared to material goods. And the gap gets wider over time. The excitement from a new purchase fades within days. Researchers call it hedonic adaptation. Your brain adjusts to the new thing and it stops producing the satisfaction it gave you on day 1. But experiences work differently. Memories from a great trip, a concert, a weekend with friends, those actually become more satisfying over time because your brain edits out the inconveniences and keeps the highlights. You remember the sunset, not the delayed flight. You remember the laughter around the campfire, not the mosquito bites. If you are going to spend discretionary money, and you should, because life is not about hoarding every dollar, spend it on things that appreciate in your memory rather than depreciate in your garage. Rule number 12, protect your attention the way you protect your wallet. Information overload is the modern financial threat nobody talks about. Not because it costs you money directly, but because it ruins the quality of every money decision you make. Every headline about economic collapse, every social media post about someone's new car, every finance influencer telling you their strategy is the only one that works. It all creates noise, and noise creates two things that destroy wealth: anxiety and paralysis. You consume more financial content than any generation in history, and yet people are more stressed about money than ever. That is not a coincidence. The information is not helping you decide. It is helping you doubt. And most online impulse purchases happen between 8 and midnight. Not during the day when you are sharp, but at night when you are exhausted and scrolling and your brain is reaching for any dopamine hit it can find. I cut my news intake to about 15 minutes a day. One check in the morning. No doom scrolling, no refreshing stock tickers. I replaced 2 hours of evening screen time with reading and walking. Impulse purchases dropped noticeably because I was no longer exhausted and reaching for shopping apps at 10 at night. This week, unfollow 5 accounts that add noise without adding clarity. Protect your attention the same way you protect your bank account, because ultimately they are connected. Rule number 13, build your finances on routine, not willpower. Willpower is overrated. It runs out. It fluctuates with your mood, your sleep, your stress levels. Building your financial life on willpower is like building a house on sand. Routine is different. Routine runs on autopilot. It does not require motivation. It does not care if you had a bad day. It just executes. The wealthiest people I know do not make daily decisions about money. They made the decisions once, built them into systems, and those systems ran without needing attention. Automatic transfers on payday. Same grocery list every week, net worth check on the first of every month, bills on autopay so they never pay a late fee. Every time you have to actively decide whether to save, whether to invest, whether to stick to your plan, you risk deciding no. That is not weakness. That is how human brains work under fatigue. Rich Richard set up automatic transfers of $500 to savings on the 1st and 15th of every month 3 years ago. He has not thought about it since. He now has over $36,000 in that account just from autopilot transfers alone. Poor Peter keeps meaning to save more. He tells himself he will transfer money when he has extra at the end of the month. Extra never arrives because it always finds somewhere to go. 3 years of good intentions and poor Peter has saved almost nothing. Pick one financial action and make it automatic this week. Remove the decision from the equation. Then watch consistency do what motivation never could. Rule number 14. Audit your relationships for financial drag. This one makes people uncomfortable, but it might be the most important rule on this list. Your spending habits are contagious. They spread through your social circle, whether you realize it or not. If your 5 closest friends all drive finance cars, eat at expensive restaurants every weekend, and measure success by what they own, you will drift toward the same behavior, not because you are weak, because you are human. Social pressure is not something you overcome with willpower. It is something you manage with environment, and it is subtle. Nobody tells you to spend more money. It happens through raised eyebrows when you suggest a cheaper restaurant, jokes about your old car, and group trips that cost twice what you can afford, but you go anyway because you do not want to be the one who stays behind. I had to distance myself from a group of friends who mocked my savings habits. They called me cheap for bringing lunch instead of spending $15 every day at restaurants. 5 years later, I had a down payment for property. They had credit card debt and restaurant receipts. Here's the math. $15 a day on lunches out, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year. That is $3,750 a year. Over 5 years, that is $18,750. Your lunch group is literally costing you a down payment. I am not saying ditch your friends over money. I am saying pay attention to which relationships encourage wealth building and which ones quietly drain it. Your financial future will reflect the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Choose carefully. Rule number 15. Schedule a life audit every 6 months. Otherwise, you will drift. Minimalism is not a weekend project. It is not something you do once and coast on forever. Without regular review, complexity creeps back in, subscriptions accumulate, commitments stack up, spending habits quietly expand. Every 6 months, block 3 hours. Review everything. What are you spending money on? Are you hitting your savings targets? What subscriptions are silently billing you for things you forgot you signed up for? I do mine every January and July. I compare where I am to where I plan to be. Then I adjust. I cancel what does not matter anymore. I cut what crept in without permission. It is boring. It is unglamorous. And it is the reason my savings rate has stayed above 20% while the national average sits around 3 to 4%. Schedule the audit. Put it in your calendar right now. And when it comes, actually do it. Rich Richard added these 15 rules. Gradually, over about 2 years, he froze his lifestyle when he got raises. He adopted the one in, one out policy. He started repairing instead of replacing. He built a simple wardrobe. He canceled dead subscriptions. He tracked his net worth instead of budgeting. He automated his finances. He audited his social circle. He scheduled his 6-month reviews. None of it was dramatic. None of it made a good social media post. In 5 years, Rich Richard has $90,000 in investments, growing passive income, and genuine financial peace. Not because he earned more than anyone else, because he kept more than everyone else. Poor Peter watched this video, took notes, felt inspired for about 45 minutes, did nothing, still lets every raise get absorbed by slightly nicer things he barely notices, still scrolls for 3 hours every night and wonders why he keeps buying stuff he does not need. Same income as Rich Richard, same opportunities, completely different trajectory. The difference was never talent, luck, or income. It was whether they treated these rules as a system they actually live by, or as interesting ideas they plan to get around to someday. Someday never comes. Today does. Pick 3 rules. Start there. Let them compound.